Welcome to the third BBP tutorial, EnergyDeck Bulk Upload. EnergyDeck is able to capture large data sets using a feature called Bulk Upload, a flat spreadsheet which captures all building data, ranging from site location to half-hourly meter readings. These can then be uploaded to the platform, transforming the sheet into the format you'll have seen in the first two tutorials. Using the historical data provided to the BBP, EnergyDeck have pre-populated each member platform with all existing data using this format. The bulk upload sheet allows you to update and change all of the data which is used for the REEB benchmark. You'll notice a series of tabs in the spreadsheet: sites, operations, meters, metadata, historical operations, historical metadata, and site purposes. EnergyDeck have pre-populated most of the sheet using the information gathered from the site request sheets issued by the BBP. Let's start with sites. EnergyDeck have created simple color coding for the column headings. Please ensure that all the columns in the dark green are populated. Light green columns are still very useful, and yellows are nice to have. You'll also notice some of the data has been grayed out. This is where EnergyDeck have pre-populated the columns based on the information provided from the site data gather. If you notice any of the data in these columns are incorrect, feel free to change it, but it'd also be useful to make a note of it by changing any altered cells to red. Within this tab, you can enter all the basic information regarding your buildings. Site, the name of the site included in REEB. Site ID. This ID was provided by JLL, and we will continue to use the format. Please do not alter the site ID, as this is used to match all site and meter data. Site Purpose ID. This is a nomenclature provided by EnergyDeck based on the historical data used by JLL. See the Site Purposes tab for more details. Year of construction and year of refurbishment. Please provide this if available. EPC through to BREEAM. Include as much information as you have regarding these certifications. Location columns. We have found that accurate location data has not always been provided. If you're able to complete more of these tabs, please do so. Where tenant and special case or energy-intensive area energy has been provided, EnergyDeck has created subsites for these areas. For an example of how this looks in the platform, please go back to tutorial 2 and see how the hierarchy is built. Subsites can usually be found lower down the column. Now on to operations. This is where more specific data about the site is collected, ranging from whole building flag to operating hours. You'll notice this sheet also has grayed out column headings. This is where we have shown the previous year values for the site for your reference. These columns do not require changing. Most of the columns found in this tab are self-explanatory, and you should be familiar with the terminology following previous year's reporting. We'd like to highlight a few aspects which may cause confusion. Whole building flag. This tells us whether you have provided all of the consumption data for the whole site. Floor space. If unchanged, please leave blank. We're able to capture FTEs and workstations for offices. If you have both, please provide. Footfall figures are to be provided for retail and leisure. You may have a case where you have a property with joint retail and office spaces. It is possible to create subsites and use both sets of metrics if available. Please contact EnergyDeck if you have this scenario, and we'll assist with the setup. Occupancy. This is the total leased or occupied level of the building. Previous reports have requested vacancy levels, so please be aware we've inversed this figure. Core and additional operating hours are an average weekly property use. We're able to capture more than one operating period across a year. If you have the data available, these can be inputted and time-stamped using this table by creating a duplicate row and adjusting the start and end dates. If you require assistance with this, please contact EnergyDeck. We're also able to capture more granular operating hours of the building, splitting weeks and weekends, as well as shoulder hours. If you have this data available, please input in the appropriate columns. Meters. You won't need to make any changes to this page. This is where meters and submeters are created. Figures for each type of resource or waste are recorded in individual meters. Take Albany House. A meter corresponding to the consumption of electricity has been created, called total electricity landlord procured, as it would be called for all sites, with the meter ID TFL 37971. The meter ID is generated using the site ID and is specific to each meter. The meter ID TFL 3971 is then referenced in the meter data page. In the platform, each meter is displayed in each site, as shown in the previous video, and the corresponding data is recorded within that meter. Meter data. This page is where you can add new data or change existing data. To add new data, you must reference the site ID. This is the number used in the sites page at the beginning of this video, which is unique to each site. Then the meter name and the meter ID from the previous page. These will depend on what type of resource or waste you're adding data for. Then the start and end date which the data relates to. Finally, in the reading value column, you can add the data point. You can add more granular data with bulk upload by inserting a row, filling out the relevant information, so site name and ID, meter name and ID. And then inserting start and end dates that are more specific than yearly. For example, putting the start date as the first day of the month, and the last day of the month. And then entering a data point here will allow you to add data corresponding specifically to that month. But please make sure when adding more granular data that the start and end dates do not overlap with other data. In addition, if you have hourly data, contact EnergyDeck and we can add it in for you. You'll notice that the meter data has some conditional formatting that will make the cell go red if the value is less than or greater than 15% of the previous year's value. This is simply to inform the user that they may have an issue with the value. It does not affect the bulk upload, it's simply an indicator. The historical operations and meter data tabs are being used for reference only. These do not need to be accessed nor changed as part of the process, unless you have some backdated data you'd like to add to the platform. If you'll be using lookups to populate the bulk upload sheet, feel free to create a new tab called Lookup Table. We're not able to accept additional columns with the active tabs, or it will affect the import functionality of the bulk upload sheet, so please refrain from adding if can be avoided. If you find that your data sets are very different to the format of this sheet, please contact EnergyDeck and we'll advise or assist with the transformation.